You've probably been scrolling on a website or a mobile app or other form of digital interface like a meal ordering station at your favorite restaurant, and you see the word sign up, buy now, learn more on different places on the screen. These are examples of call to action buttons. CTA buttons are an essential element of user experience design. They allow users to take the next desired action on a website or an app. I realized that a lot of early career UX designers found it difficult to understand some of the industry's technical terms. Understanding the terms in itself is good, but as with every tool of communication, the goal is to help you communicate effectively, set the right expectations, and also demonstrate your value. Through my series, beginning from letter A through to Z, I'll explain product design concepts, break down principles, and share tutorials of tools as well. I'll use practical examples and hands-on tutorials to make this series enjoyable. We began with letter A, and now we're moving to letter C. Our word for today is, guess what it is? Drum roll. Call to action. So buckle up and hit the subscribe button as we get into it. You've probably been scrolling on a website or a mobile app or other form of digital interface like a meal ordering station at your favorite restaurant, and you see the word sign up, buy now, learn more on different places on the screen. These are examples of call to action buttons. CTA buttons are an essential element of user experience design. They allow users to take the next desired action on a website or an app. They play a crucial role in guiding users, as such are important to the overall success of a website or app, as they are often the key driver of conversions. A poorly designed CTA button can result in a high bounce rate, while an effective button can increase conversion and drive business growth. I'm going to repeat the last sentence in a way that makes it easier for everyone to understand. A poorly designed CTA button can result in user confusion about the next action to take, while an effective button can increase clarity and action, resulting in a positive business outcome like an increase in orders. Therefore, UX designers need to understand the psychological principles that influence call to action buttons' effectiveness and apply them in their design process. This is why we will explore the role of color, shape, size, words, and placements in creating CTA buttons that convert. Let's start with color. Color is a powerful tool in UX design, as it can evoke certain emotions and influence user behaviors. When it comes to CTA buttons, the color used can play a significant role in their effectiveness. It is important to consider the meaning behind the different colors you choose for your CTA buttons. For example, the color red is often associated with urgency or danger and can be used to grab users' attention and encourage them to take action, which is why it's common to see red used in a lot of design systems for destructive actions. It is important to choose a color for your CTA button that aligns with the overall tone and branding for your website or app, as well as the desired action you want the user to take. For example, a green CTA button may be more appropriate for a wellness app. In addition to the meaning behind different colors, it's also important to consider the contrast of the CTA button against the surrounding design. A CTA button that blends in with the background may be overlooked by users, while a button that stands out may be more effective in grabbing attention. For example, looking at this McDonald's app, we see that they use a white secondary button for this card rather than using the yellow primary button they use on other cards further down below, so that the CTA stands out. Let's move on to the shape and size. In addition to the color, the shape and size of a CTA button can influence its effectiveness. The shape of a button can affect its visibility and perceived importance, while the size can impact its readability and emphasis. For example, when a user sees this button and this button, they perceive the one with the rounded edges as more approachable, while the boxy buttons tend to be associated with more serious or corporate brands. Moving on to size. Bigger buttons are perceived as more important than smaller buttons by users. Therefore, when designing, it is important to use hierarchy to emphasize the most important CTA buttons by making them larger or using a distinct shape. It is also important to consider the context of the overall composition to ensure that you select a shape and size that's appropriate. Let's take this Netflix landing page. We can see two buttons. The larger button emphasizes the next step Netflix wants users to take on this page, which is to get started or maybe sign up. Let's talk about the placement of the button. The placement and context of a CTA button can also affect its effectiveness. The location of a CTA button on a web page or app on the app screen can influence its visibility and perceived importance, while the context of the button can affect its relevance to the users. Let's go back to the Netflix landing page example. You can see that they placed the Get Started CTA above the fold. The CTA is more likely to be seen and clicked on by users than if the users had to scroll further down the web page. Similarly, because the CTA button is placed next to the email form field, users know to add their email before tapping on the CTA button to get started. The proximity of a button to the action requires means that the button is more likely to be effective than a button placed in an unrelated location. It's also important to consider the context in which the CTA button is being used. For example, if you think about a website, on the home page, if you have a buy now button, it might not be contextual. But if you have that same button on the product page where users are ready to make a purchase, then it makes more sense. In summary, here are the key points on how to design effective call to action buttons for UX. Okay, number one, choose colors that evoke the right emotion and align with your brand. Consider using contrasting colors to make the CTA stand out. Number two, select a shape that fits your design aesthetics. Rounded edges can appear more approachable, while boxy shapes may suit more corporate brands. Number three, size the CTA button appropriately to create visual hierarchy and emphasize the most important actions. Larger buttons are perceived as more important. Number four, place the CTA button prominently, preferably above the fold and near to the relevant content or forms to improve visibility and relevance. Number five, craft context-related CTA copies that clearly communicates the desired action. Number six, test different colors, shapes, size, and placement variations through A/B testing to optimize CTA performance. The goal is to design CTA buttons that guide users towards the desired action, resulting in higher conversions and ultimately business success. Understanding the psychological principles behind effective CTAs is crucial for UX designers. Hello, my name is Grace Mary, a product designer with 3+ years of relevant industry experience on a mission to help early career designers grow and scale their impact with the resources that I share. Feel free to sign up for my newsletter, linked in the description, for more of this type of content, and endeavor to hit the like button if this is valuable. Share with your fellow designers and subscribe for more insights into the A to Z of product design.